Well, hello everybody. It's not the greatest of days today, but I've had to do a lot of cleaning out of my Facebook here, blocking and banning people, going on tangents, uh, liberal style tangents that I've experienced a lot over the years from. We'll see if it does it again. I might have to get moving. But I've had a lot of liberals, NDP over the years, the radical left, always attacking on physical conservative issues of real freedom. I've been teaching a straightforward message for many, many years now about the pitfalls of the crown. If people don't like that and you love your crown, hey, put your elbows up, but be gone from my feeds. I don't need you as a follower. I don't need you coming in, claiming you know me. Very, very few on my Facebook actually really know me. Maybe I could say upwards of 1,000 actually know me, know my history. Other than that, most folks are just followers who got on bandwagons along the way, or are curious about learning and seeing things about the world as it really is. And I share that with everybody. It's been a journey for more than a decade now, as I started this process seeking answers to why the law isn't uniform, why it changes, why everything changes so dramatically in Canada on any given Sunday, and it's not uniform. And of course, that took me on a journey. I've always been conservative minded, real conservative, physically conservative. I do have social issues, but I don't expense those at rights and freedoms. I believe in equality of the person, and I teach that. That journey has brought me to the United States of America, the best example the world knows today that I've found. I'm sorry, but I've been throughout all the UN nations at some level. There are some I haven't, because they're radical dictatorships, and there's no need for me to go any further with those. I'm very limited with communism. I think out of my policy bag, there are some things that overlap from communism. It's down at 15%, meaning that of communism, 15% of it, I can say, yeah, I agree with that. The other 85%, no way. So that puts me on the right spectrum, considerably further away from communism over here. Now, Crown is a whole different matter. It's got an up and a down scale, right? That most Canadians are ignorant of entirely. And I get that. And, I let a lot of people go, teach their own. I teach what I teach. I bestow upon people what I bestow. If it doesn't sit well with you, you shouldn't follow me. You shouldn't friend me for particular narratives or answers to your problems in your region, and you're bleeding me for knowledge. I can tell you all this, especially Albertans, and I've had to cut a couple loose here, not only defriend them, but ban them. And two of these ladies have been with me some time, but when you really look at these ladies, it's like, okay, you're an entrepreneur. Okay, is that great? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. When you're running some kind of coffee shop selling goddess products, all in the name of the crown, you're probably not the kind of person I would ever be friends with in life. And in fact, you're on the opposite spectrum of me. You're up here in entitled. I'm down here with we the people. Now, we may be on a right spectrum in some social conservative policies, but when you get into a cross autocracy up here, and you think you're better than other people, that you're entitled some way, like COVID relief money, that you're voting this election because you want some of that money coming in from the government bleeding taxpayers. Whoa, me and you are nothing alike. In fact, you're way up here. I'm way down here with we the people. I don't believe that people should work to pay you sweet fuck all. You're socialist extremist. We saw this in COVID. I'm sorry, but a lot of not viable businesses that don't contribute to GDP in a meaningful way, they're part of the service sector. I get it. It's nice when the economy's going well. But if you can't be viable and you need subsidies to survive, me and you are nowhere on any spectrum together. You believing that people should work to pay you, that the government should dig out of other people's pockets to pay you, I'm sorry, but that's socialism. I don't care if you run a business. It's not a viable business. You're not viable. You have to search other means of viability. When the economy goes down, we all got to roll with the punches. We've all got to change. We've all got to adapt. You don't get special privilege to keep operating at the expense of people who work for a living because you're loyal to a government regime. That is nothing that's ever going to be me. That's not me. Never gonna be. Never anything I teach. And if that's you, you should go follow somebody who will support you on that. Jagmeet Singh loves that. Yves Francois Blanchette is entirely that in Quebec. A lot of people saying he's the greatest thing on the debates. Old age security in Canada is nothing like the United States of America. Old age security in the United States of America runs on your personal contributions. That's it. What you put in, you get to take. It's Canada's version of one CPP. It's a terrific CPP. People contribute 2.5 times more than Canadians do in CPP. At least in first tier. Now there's a second tier. Now there's even a third tier to put people in higher tax brackets so the government can claw you back, because the reality is people at those tiers already have private employer pension plans. That's the God honest truth. Low income people, people under $26 an hour, aren't hitting tier 2 and 3. In the US, they only have old age security. Now in Canada, our old age security is socialism. It's not based on your contributions in anything. It's based on how long you've been a Canadian. Have you been a Canadian citizen for 10 years? Oh, you never worked? No problem. You're at retirement age. The taxpayers will fund you. It's pure socialism. So when Yves Blanchette says, hey, everybody, we're going to expand old age security, that means taxing people who worked for a living, people who paid their CPP, 1, 2, 3, plus their private plans, pulling from them to make them pay for those who never ever worked. That's old age security. I'm sorry to break your hearts, Canadians. You're in a massive, massive pyramid scheme, like I've always told you, that's gotten much, much worse. Yes, under Justin Trudeau. And no Liberal or Conservative's going to be cancelling that, because they're going to be rating all that too for their massive immigration programs that have nothing to do with lifetime working Canadians. In fact, it's the opposite. It's to bleed the lifetime working Canadians. And yes, businesses are on the hook too, because they pay 2.5 times for those programs. In the United States, businesses pay way more. Did you know that American companies are not as competitive as the scabby Canadian Crown corporations entirely, all businesses, and all Canadian working class folks. Your Crown has scabbed you so bad in socialism, meaning not viable social programs, so that you can't make it in retirement and you have to go on the taxpayer's tit. And they keep expanding it, while America holds strong, true, and free. You work, you will have a viable retirement. That's how it works in the United States. A lot of people ask me about the United States, and they've got it all wrong. Did you know if you're born blind, deaf, mute, maybe you got in an accident, you become a cripple, you're in a wheelchair, and there's all kinds of levels, you're better off in the United States than you are in Canada. The amount set aside for those folks in real disabilities is much, much more. Not only federally, which is better than Canada's federally, but at the state level. The state level is even higher. It's 2.5 times more than you could ever imagine in Canada. That's the truth here. Now, fakes, phonies, people with all these ailments that can't be proven, people who are dodging work. No, you're going to starve to death if that's the life you want in the United States of America. Now, in Canada, they make all kinds of exceptions. Hey, don't worry about it. We'll get somebody else to pay for you in socialism. Don't worry. Oh, you're not feeling well, you've got depression, or you've got all these other issues, and you need to change your gender, and you need to change all this, and there's a whole pile that don't exist in the United States that exist in Canada, all taxpayer funded. And you even get a right to say, hey, I don't want to work anymore because I can't manage my eating disorder. I don't want to change my lifestyle. Somebody pay for me. I want to be a raging alcoholic, and I want everybody else to take care of me and make sure I get to live that lifestyle. In Canada, you can. You can smoke 50 packs of cigarettes a month, no problem. You can blow your lungs up beyond an oxygen bottle. Canada will take care of you. The working Canadians, they will be bled to feed you, take care of you, subsidize you in housing, in overinflated housing. Don't worry, we'll take it out of working families. This is true for all conservatives, all liberals, entirely. There is no change on this. So if you're a Canadian, you believe all that and your elbows up, destroy America. I like being the scabby employer. I like being the scabby Canadian worker to minimize American business. I like to use slave labor from all over the world. I support it. Every plant built in Canada. I want labor from Mexico all through South America. Lower the wages, the better. Flood Canada. Bring it from the Asian world, all of it. If they're dollars, dirt, nothing. We're going to sign a trade agreement to bring all those folks in from the worst places in the world, because that's the best for Canada. Because you don't want to compete tit for tat with the United States. You don't want viable social programs. You want to live in socialism and pyramid scheme wealth transfer to only the select few. Only the select few. Big businesses approved by the Crown. Now, this is your typical conservative today. I'm sorry, but the conservative of yesterday, even the old liberals of 50 years ago, are long gone. They transitioned a long time ago. Transitioned away from all of that. They've become America's nightmare. Nothing like America. Now, that's okay. People don't have to get on board with the things I teach or any of these truths. You can be your scabby self, live in your scabby country, and continue on. I'm not going to stop you. I couldn't stop you. I'm not going to do violence. I don't do that. I don't troll anybody's account. But if you're one of these miserable, low-life, degenerate pieces of shit. You are an elbows up, scabby-ass conservative who believes that I and others should supply you with a never-ending money stream, and then when the economy goes down, that I gotta pay more, I gotta be debt loaded to transition more money from my pocket to you because you're entitled. I don't want fuck all to do with you. I don't think I've ever requested any of you to follow me. I don't think out of my mouth in the last 10 years I've ever stated that I support any of that. Never once, never in a million years. You'll never find a video of me going, please, let's do that. I've never, ever supported any of that. I don't believe in any of it. I see America for what it is in real economics. I see the struggle. I see what Donald J. Trump and GOP are trying to do, and I have nothing but admiration and respect for it. I support America way more than I support my own country that gives away everything to everyone not Canadian, and in fact, a wealthy set of few. If you're the kind of dumb shit, no good, low-life, degenerate piece of shit that can't look at our economics and see the massive, massive wealth transfer, debt loaded upon the lowest class of people, working class and under, small business, the individual contractor and under, transferred their wealth to an elite class, and you can't see that in real measurements of economics in Canada, creating the most millionaires and even billionaires in a population of 41 million. Politicians rich beyond all measure, way more than any American politician you can find. I'm sorry, per person per capita, the Canadian politicians made out tenfold upon their American counterparts. Do the math, divide out the population, you'll find not only do we have way more politicians, way more per person per capita on a mother load, and it only gets worse, federal to provincial on down the line. Compared to America, you see that they take more per person per capita than any American greasy politician you can find. And there are some, they get prosecuted. You'll also find they never get prosecuted in Canada. So, you know what? You don't have to support me. In fact, I don't want supporters who support that shit, that think that that's a good thing. If that's you, I don't want you. Get lost. I don't mind cleaning out the closet. If you were following me for some idea that you were going to be privileged or that I was going to be in elbows up with the crown, that ain't ever going to be me. If that's you, go somewhere else. Go follow someone else. I'm not going to help you, teach you, help you get to independence because you don't deserve it and you're not going to get it. You're going to get fucking vetoed. If you're that kind of dense, dumb, dullard piece of shit, you're going to be vetoed anyway. Republicans aren't going to help you, not in this administration. I already know that for all the provinces. You don't go forward. If you've missed it, Donald J. Trump rolled out the district system again for the umpteenth time. The ocean of red, what does that mean? It means over 2,000 districts in the United States of America, congressional districts, voted for Donald J. Trump out of a little more than 2,500, meaning just over 500 voted for the Democrats. Now, yes, that transitioned into some states, but when you look at the district level, the ocean of it, it shows you this is all populated equally. I know Canadians don't get it. I know you don't understand this advanced system known as the United States. Well, I've done the work. I do understand it. I teach it. It's what is and will be the 51st state when and if we get there in my lifetime. I hope we do. I think we're the closest we've ever been in the history of Canada under Donald J. Trump, and he is going to make that as achievable as possible. But it requires a lot of you that are clearly not on board, clearly colonized, and I get it. That's fine. I know it's a mass of institutionalized majority. I'm not ignorant to that. But if you've been following me for some time, trying to skim off. And I know these kind of loser people that don't even understand property rights, let alone have respect for intellectual property rights. But you've been following me to skim off my knowledge, to somehow use it because you're not smart enough to come up with it or do the work to get it. You can't do the work. You're exactly what America hates about China. I'm sorry, but that's a communist mentality, an entitled mentality. And more than that, it's an absolute of the crown monarchical system. Entitled, low-life, degenerate pieces of shit who don't have the IQ to do the work themselves, but will steal it from somebody else for their own narratives. That's not going to ever be me or anything I support. Americans hate that. They hate that more than anything. If anything I've learned in the last at least 5 years about the United States, they love intellectual property. They love to teach and learn. They give as much as they're willing to take, and it's an equal share. And they'll include you. Canada, the opposite. It's part of the sickness of Canada, where people will lie, cheat, and steal it from you, try to go their own way, fuck you over, lie right to your face. That's what I probably dislike and loathe about Canada the most, and what disgusts me about my country the most. And your average Canadian is always looking to eat their own children, sell out their own mother when it comes down to it in a mentality. This is the crown institutionalization. It's disgusting. It's over surpassing narcissism. It's a real sociopathic, bordering on psychopathic, and in some levels with politicians, it becomes a psychopathic mission where they believe they're gods, and it will never be me. And I'm unbreakable and unwavering on this, and I'll never change. I would love nothing more than to get to the United States, and I'll work at that as I always do. I'll never hold a secret about that. That would be the greatest dream come true for me. But it's tough. It's been made tough. People say, move away if you don't like it. I would love that, but our crown made sure that's not possible. I would have loved to register our party, but our crown made sure that's impossible. The idea of the 51st state or an American-style system here has been made virtually illegal in Canada. That should tell you something, that communism can roll, but we the people republic can't. What does that tell you about the state of this country, if anything else? I will never apologize, change my position on anything. It's a shameful, low-life, degenerate kind of person who would sacrifice their soul that way. And you know, I have a lot of patience, and it was really beautiful in the other, that we had Emma come forward, a follower, and I know she's from Facebook, and I'm pretty sure I know which one it is, and she's been following me a long time. But she even said, I've been following Dave a long time, and the patience of this guy. But it runs low when people start attacking you, when they show their true colors. I have no tolerance for it. If you've been following me for 10 years or 8 years or even 6 years and you still don't get it, and you're going to come on my feeds because you're in love with your version of the crown and you believe that's your savior, great, good, do that. But don't follow me because you're the worst kind of person. You're the Judas. You know what I mean? It's one thing to be a piece of shit, like Mark Carney, Jagmeet Singh, where they believe, but at least they're an honest piece of shit. It's another thing to be a dishonest piece of shit. Look somebody in the eye, go along with what they're saying. I think that the Judas-style person is much, much worse than the persecutor-style person, honestly. Because at least the persecutor, they're bad, they're wrong, they're evil, but at least they're honest about it. You know what you're getting. It's worse when someone's hugging you and at the same time driving a dagger in your back. That is some kind of low-level dirtbag, the worst kind, right? And I can't stand these people. and I will be cleaning them out. If that's you, and it's beautiful, I guess, to expose yourself. I love it, because you'll be gone, and I will not only unfriend you, I'll block you, and I have. Like, why would I want Judas in my midst? I don't want any Judas. That's the worst kind of person, and I'm glad to be rid of them, and I will get more. So if that's you, please come forward, expose yourself. If you think you have a right and you're entitled to diminish me by removing my rights, you are a fucking liberal. I'm sorry, but you can call yourself conservative because you have some social conservative aspects, but you are no different than a socialist, fascist extremist, because the second you say, hey, you don't get that right, that's mine, I'm taking it from you, because my right is more important. I have a narrative that's better, and you must obey me. I'm sorry, but you are exactly what they were in COVID-19, which means you are the sickest kind of socialist, fascist piece of shit. And that is opposite of everything I've been teaching for many, many years. And if you've been hanging out in the shadows, following along with me, always sharing the things that are privy to you, but I ignore the rest of it, and me, as long as he does what I want and he benefits me in some way, well, I don't want you, and I'm not teaching you nothing, because you're an enemy of everything that's an American, and that's totally an enemy of me, really. At the end of the day, and I'm glad to be rid of these people. So, folks, it's going to be my following shrinking down. I always clean out the closet, because the reality is, what good is a following if they're not there to reciprocate, take the knowledge, and pay it forward, right? That's no following you want at all. It's a sickness. These elbow up motherfuckers, I want them gone. Canada's sick. It's broken. It's a wrong system where it gets worse and worse generation after generation, and it's never going to get better voting for the crown. You must understand, you must destroy the crown. I'm not giving up on the 51st state. I'm not giving up on the federal party. But those who do, that's your choice. You go ahead. Good riddance. Go back to your crown. But understand this. You go back, that's for you forever. Don't come back. Nobody wants a double-cross, double-speak backstabber. That is the enemy of everything of we the people, republics around the world. And America knows this. This is an age-old story. They have naturalization to fight against that, and many, many other checks and balances. If this is who you are, you may have a minority position in with the Democrats, right? There's a place for you with Kamala Harris, Cortez, and others. There's a great place for you there, but it won't be a place with me, because it's make America subjects again, and that ain't me. That's never going to be me. And it's never going to be anything I teach. I teach quality of the person. I teach everything that's about civics, civil and human rights as they really are, not as people want to narrate them in their diversity, equity, and inclusion. And understand the worst of those words, which is the absolute of all constitutional monarchies, is the equity part. The assigned equity in your class. That is the worst thing in this world today. It always has been. It's very old. It is the evil of Canada. It's the institution that needs to be destroyed, that will kill them all. And it's basically the crown. You break the crown, you destroy the crown, and the rest will be what it is. It will convert over into the new system. But you've got to destroy that crown federally and provincially. And just so people know, these people who want their provinces, they think, as republics, they're unconstituted. I've told this a million times. These folks who are clinging to their colonial mindset, their socialist, fascist system, there is no place for it in the United States. There's a reason why now Donald J. Trump, the Trump administration, the White House, the GOP 46 times Canada the 51st state, because there's no place for the provincial system in America. Zero, nada. Doesn't matter what American people know or not know. It's a congressional thing of Congress without a veto from the president. So you've got a president with majority House, which is Congress, and Senate. He's got both because Congress runs it through, Senate will pass it, and then you got to go to president to make sure it's not vetoed. We've already got presidential approval. He's removed his veto. It's been said 46 times. Canada, the 51st state. He's never once ever said any provinces. Why? Because provinces will not exist in the United States. Canada will be changed into a multitude of districts, anywhere from 48 to 52, depending on the conversion of immigration and how many people are gone from Canada. It looks like upwards of 7 million, making you much smaller than California today. Congress, under the Constitution, doesn't matter how size the landmass, doesn't matter the size of the population. In that model, you get a district system. They break it into many, many equal pieces under many, many measurements. Canada will not even look anything like it looks today in its monarchical system with its 10 drawn provinces, rulers with rulers, and of course the 3 territories. It will not remotely look anything like it looks today. All you'll see is the Canada landmass as a 51st state. That is the only offer, the only thing Canadians have to understand, that there is no offer of provinces and never will be. Because you don't have any constitutions, you have no military, you have no basis to enter into any union with the United States. None whatsoever. People who talk about territory status and these people going, we could be a territory. You don't even know what that means. Territories in the United States are generally under 60,000 population, 41 million people. Drop it down with that 7 million of, American immigration don't work. It looks totally different, and it won't be following any territory system, that's for sure. People look at things the way they want to in Canada. They make up fictions based on what feels good at the time. There are Americans, sure, people can find that will say, yeah. But unfortunately, Americans don't get any referendum process. They get no say. And people saying, well, they're going to tell. That's not how it works in the States. The States isn't a democracy. They have many awesome democratic institutions, but it's a we the people republic, a constitutional republic, not a democratic republic. I'm sorry, but people got to learn at what is and what isn't, not make it up as you go. Canada itself is not a democratic monarchy. It's a constitutional monarchy. There are many similarities actually between Canada and USA, but then there are extreme 180-degree differences. And when you look at the internal structure of democratic processes, institutions, checks and balances, powers of the people, you realize they are completely opposite. But fundamentally and institutionally, they're almost the same on surface until you dig deep into the Constitution and realize, wow, they're nothing alike. But by design in federalism, by design in many others, they look almost like they could be identical until you deep delve and realize they're nothing alike. This is my video. It's a wake-up call to people. If you're not on board with Canada, the 51st state, no problem. Begone. It's okay. I don't need you, don't want you. You want to learn? Great. But don't come treat on me. Don't come selling your bag of tricks, we don't want it here. None of my followers want it here. If that's you and you start up and you're going to, no, this guy's this, and start accusing me or branding me or criticizing me and making up stories when you don't even fucking know me, we've never met in real life and we have no interactions, none whatsoever, you're going to be gone. You make up stories about me, you're gone. You want to sell the crown? Do that on your own feed, because I don't troll yours. I don't like any of your feed, but you don't catch me there trolling you. You troll me, you're going to get blocked. That's my video. These are supposedly conservatives, but it's funny. You look at their profiles and you realize there's nothing conservative about them. They may consider themselves conservative socially, but definitely in socialism, fascism, they're nothing of conservative. They're definitely nothing of what can be considered a Republican American. They're more on the side of communist China, and they call themselves conservative. That should scare you all. That's my video. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your weekend if you've still got it. Bye now.